What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And right now I'd like to give you guys my thoughts. Almost a week late, but you know, that's how it works sometimes. I'd like to give you guys my thoughts on Wandavision Episode 4. So, this was a huge episode. So, you know, the first 3 episodes, they definitely leaned into the idea that it's a sitcom, right? The first episode was set in the 50s, the second episode was set in the 60s, and the third episode was set in the 70s. And as each episode progressed, it also progressed the mystery. You know, we got to realize, episode 1, there was very little bit about the mystery. It was almost straight sitcom. Episode 2, they announced a little bit more that, yeah, things aren't really as they seem. And then in episode 3, especially near the end of the episode, they really revealed that there's something bigger going on here. And then episode 4, we get all of our questions answered. And then we have more questions to ask. So, episode 4 was called, what was it called? It was called, We Interrupt This Program. And that's a very apt title for this episode, because they literally interrupt WandaVision to tell us what's going on outside of WandaVision. So this episode focused on Maria Rambeau, and it focused on Randall Park's agent. I forget his name, but the agent that Randall Park, I think it's Agent Wu, right? Agent Wu? Yeah, it's Agent Wu. So, you know, focus on Maria Rambeau, Agent Wu, and Kat Dennings' character. And I forget her name also. Oh my gosh. You know, it's one of those things where if somebody were to tell me, I'd be like, that's it. But Kat Dennings' character. And we get, you know, we learn, number one, the episode opens up just amazing. You know, in Spider-Man Far From Home, they played people coming back from the blip. They played it for laughs. And we only saw a brief second of it. You know, there's a basketball game, and then the band people come back, and people, you know, there's collisions and stuff like that, and they play it for laughs. But WandaVision plays it much more horrific. Imagine that scenario, right? We're in a hospital, and then all of a sudden all these people come back, and it's chaotic. And people don't know how to react to it. And can we take care of everybody that just came back? And yeah, all of a sudden we have this chaos, this horrific chaos that's happening when people come back from the blip. And we see that Maria was one of them not Maria, Monica, right? Monica Rambeau's the daughter. But we see that Monica was one of them who was blipped out. And then she comes back. And we learn that her mom, Maria, was one of the people who was killed in the blip. Or she wasn't killed in the blip, I'm sorry. We learned that she died of cancer. And how sad is that, right? That she beat it, and then while Monica was blipped out, the cancer came back and she died. So that's kind of heartbreaking, but we also learned that, you know, she always believed that her daughter was going to come back. And we also learned that she founded SWORD, which, as we know, is kind of not really an offshoot, but like a sister program of S.H.I.E.L.D. that focuses on like the paranormal and the extraterrestrial. Where were they? Where were they during Infinity War, right? So we did get to see a little bit of insight into what it looked like right after the Hulk snapped his fingers, and the chaos that it caused. And it wasn't played for laughs like Far From Home was. And I appreciate Far From Home playing it for laughs. I think that's fine. But, you know, not everywhere was it going to be funny. It was going to be chaotic and terrifying in some places. And a hospital would definitely be one of those places where that would be the case. So then we kind of see Monica start to get her feet under her again, and she goes on this mission to, you know, a missing person's case, and we find out that it's not a missing person, it's a missing town. And, you know, I kind of had this picture in my head that there would be a dome over the town, kind of like Stephen King's Under the Dome or something like that. But that's not the case. The town is basically a ghost town. It's basically a ghost town. People don't know, you know, Don't know, people who live in that vicinity don't even think it exists. And all the people, we come to find out that all the people who lived in the town aren't even there anymore. They are showing up in WandaVision. So Kat Dennings, Agent Wu, they kind of do their investigation, and they learn that, they kind of figure out what's going on. That this residual radiation, supposed to be from the Big Bang, is where kind of Wanda is broadcasting WandaVision. So she's kind of taken everybody there and is broadcasting it there. And they're able to get an old school TV to literally watch episodes of WandaVision. So it's kind of interesting how it plays out, because it is playing out as a TV show to everybody in the real world. Is Wanda consciously making it a TV show? And it looks like she is. It looks like she is making all of these decisions and is, responsible for all the sinister going on that's happening. Now, I still kind of think that there's something else going on here. It's a little bit early in episode 4 of 9 episodes to declare that Wanda is in fact the villain. I still think it's a little early for that. I think that Wanda might be a bit of a red herring that they're throwing at us right now. We'll see. A lot of people think it's Mephisto. A lot of people think it's Agatha Harkness. And a lot of people think that Sword is actually the ones responsible. I actually have a poll up on my YouTube page where I ask, who do you think the antagonist is of WandaVision? So feel free to go to that poll and vote, so you can make your voice heard, and so we can kind of figure out kind of where all my viewers stand on this. But yeah, she's in control, and she's the one who's causing all this terrifying stuff to go on. And yes, after seeing episode 4, you realize just how terrifying episodes 1, 2, and 3 are. They're played as a straight comedy sitcom, situational comedy, things of that nature, but then you realize these people are trapped there, and they're in fear of Wanda, and it is a terrifying situation that she's put these people in. Not only that, but you also, to some degree, you empathize with her. You understand that she's lost Vision, she's lost her brother, she's had this really tough life, and this is her way, it appears that this is her way of escaping from that life. And literally finding escapism in this false reality that she's created. So, what did I think of this episode that kind of broke us away, interrupted our programming, if you will? I really liked it. Now, there's some stuff I didn't like about it, but let's talk about the stuff I liked first. I liked Elizabeth Olsen's performance. I continue to think that she's fantastic in the role. And the guy that plays Vision, gosh, what's his name? Paul Bettany? Yeah, Paul Bettany. He is phenomenal as Vision. There at the end of the episode, when she says, "What do you want to watch?" you can kind of see in his face this mask that he's wearing, where he is terrified also. He is not just concerned, he's scared. He's putting on this mask for Wanda, where he trying to keep her calm, realizing that there's something sinister going on here, and he's starting to, you can tell that he's starting to put the pieces together, that maybe his wife is the one responsible for all this. So his performance is great. I loved the exposition. I loved how they kind of tied everything together with us. The sword drone, the radio, they tied everything together, and they answered a lot of our questions that we had. The big question that remains is this truly Wanda, as Monica said it was at the end? Or is there something bigger going on that we don't see yet? My guess is there's something bigger going on, but who knows? Maybe it is Wanda. Stuff that I didn't like, well, we didn't really get to spend a lot of time with Wanda and Vision in this episode. It was indeed a break from our programming. So because of that, we didn't get a lot of new content with them. We saw some stuff that we hadn't seen before with Wanda and Vision, but it wasn't really a whole lot of new content. They very much took a back seat in this episode to Monica and Wu and Kat Dennings' character. But It's called Wandavision. So an episode where they kind of took the back seat, it kind of just left us wanting more of them. And that's not bad. That's not bad in an episodic weekly show. If we want more, we're more likely to tune in next time. But there's still a certain level of frustration there. And I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like her, and a lot of people think she's adorable. Kat Dennings annoys me. I can't stand her voice. And, she tries to be sarcastic, and it just comes off as, to me, it just comes off as off-putting. Like I said, I know a lot of people like her, and I'm in the minority on this one. I just can't stand her voice, and I can't stand the way she talks. So that's just me. That's just me. But this was a strong episode. I love seeing Agent Woo, and I love those little Easter eggs that Marvel likes to put in. He had that little card trick that he learned at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's those little Easter eggs, those little touches that really make Marvel stand apart. And as big of a DC fan as I am, even I have to acknowledge that, Marvel has done a much better job at building a universe, and it's care like that. It's care like that makes us appreciate this universe that they've built. So yeah, it was a good episode. It was a breakaway. Next week, this week, in a couple days, I want to get back to WandaVision, and I want to see. But now I think there can be a balance. Now I think we can have WandaVision, but we can also take some breaks, some commercial breaks, if you will, to see what's happening outside. But yeah, that's my take on WandaVision episode 4. What did you think of the episode? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to have a conversation about it. While you're down there, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out a lot of content, and I want to make sure that you're up to date with everything that I'm doing. And as always, thank you so much for joining me right here at the LQ Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.